realized, okay, this can be something big. And I have a business background. What am I going to do? And then we started to try to plan it all out. And retailers started to call us. I started to call retailers. We started to have these retailers that were selling it. And things started to grow from there because I had like a viable business now.
Just a quick reminder for you to like, subscribe, and rate this podcast so we can get your feedback and know how to make it better.
Hey, it's Ari. Welcome to the Made in America podcast. I am really excited to have a small but really growing business with Brenda Mierzejewski, president and founder of Mizzi Cosmetics. Brenda, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, it's the Made in America podcast, Brenda. So we start off with the same two questions. What do you make and why do you make it?
So we make safe, smart, sustainable, clean beauty products. Our hero products are a lot of the lip care that you see on this table, and we also focus on some medical care products. And we make it here in Portland, Connecticut. And it started about 7 years ago. It really came about because of my son. So it was like kind of out of a mother's necessity. And he had open heart surgery about 2010, 2011, he had open heart surgery. And when he was in that room, these babies, they got tubes everywhere because they're having all this surgery done. And the nurses were putting a petroleum base on his lips. And I was a breastfeeding mother at the time. And I asked the nurse a very simple question: if he can digest that, can he ingest this? And they said, we don't know. So quickly wiped it off. And I did what I needed to do, and it just lit a fire under in me because I knew that everything else that was on the counter that you would get at your CVS's or Walgreens that are brand loyalty had a whole bunch of petroleum in it. So I wanted to do something to fix that.
So that was your motivation.
That was my motivation.
Well, that's a pretty good motivation.
Yeah, right?
Mom protecting her babies.
Yeah,
a lot of things are going to get done.
Absolutely.
So where did that go from there? So you have a problem here. You see this problem. Where do you go from there?
Yes. So, I have a pharmaceutical background, worked in big pharma for a very long time. And now I guess you would call me a cosmetic chemist with a background of essential oils. And it really stemmed from my mother. So my mother is Sicilian. She came here from Sicily, hence the word Mizzi Cosmetics. That is her maiden name. So I took that family name, and that is like under the umbrella company of everything that we have here. And she taught me everything I needed to know about essential oils. And then I brought in people and ideas about what do I do to create something that doesn't have unsafe, even though, petroleum is natural, comes from the earth, so it should be safe, right? And that's just not the case. It's a carcinogen. So I just really wanted to create something that was vegan, natural, and safe if you were to digest it, because petroleum in your life, this is so crazy. So like in your lifetime, you and any woman, anybody that's using those over-the-counters will digest 10 pounds of petroleum, and it goes nowhere. So your body can't metabolize petroleum. It is not meant to, but because you're putting it on your mouth, that's what's happening. So I was just on a mission to say, this is enough. What am I going to do for my kids? What am I going to do for me and maybe everybody else out there, and try to change that a little bit. Didn't know I was going to create this whole business, but I started somewhere.
Yeah, well, everything's got to start somewhere. So your mom was teaching you about essential oils. Yeah. You've now got this mission to create something that's like healthy, that's sustainable, that's not going to hurt our bodies. So how do you take this dream of doing something great and this basics kind of essential oils, and how does that become Mizzi Cosmetics?
Again, this wasn't planned. I wasn't planning to, I wasn't like, my dream is to make a lip balm and be huge and in all these stores and all of this stuff. That wasn't my dream. Again, this was like a necessity type thing. So what happened was I started to make all of this product at home. I'll never forget my husband walking in the house going, "What are you doing? Like, what is happening? It smells like peppermint in here. There's jars all over the table. My kitchen, he can't even see the kitchen counter." And so I started giving these wonderful things away that worked for my family to like my community. And within weeks, people were coming back to me, Brenda, this really worked. Can you make this? Can you try to make this for my daughter, this for my husband? I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun. Let me, cook
In the meantime,
kitchen.
you're just doing this on the side. Like
I'm
you've
just
still
doing
got
it on the
you still got
side.
your normal pharma job doing your thing.
No, I wasn't in pharma. I was home with the kids at this point. So as soon as I started to have the kids, I was a stay-at-home mom.
Got it.
And I was home for about 7 years.
Okay.
And then this happened. So after, getting all this feedback, I decided, okay, maybe my husband was like, I think you got something here. Maybe you could make a couple $100 a month and pay for the diapers or whatever. I'm like, okay. So I came up with the name, and I had my little computer at home, and I was printing out labels to put on my jars. I was going around Portland and Glastonbury. I was printing out little certificates and coupons and posting them all over the place. I created my own website on Wix.com because I'm technology savvy, so I was able to do that. And I started selling with no help from anybody. I was putting it on my Facebook. I didn't have an Instagram or a Twitter at that point. And everybody really liked it. I'm like, oh my God, why does everybody like this so much? And just without advertising, my first month and a half, I made $5,000 from making this stuff. And we had an opportunity to go into the Oscar swag bags after that Christmas. And
you had an opportunity, like the Oscars.
Yeah, the Oscars, through a family friend. And they said, we think your product is so fun, so cute, so perfect, boutique-like. Let's get them in the Oscar swag bags. I'm like, no, I'm using a Pyrex dish that's 2 cups. You want me to make 500 lip balm? You know how long it's going to take me? And my whole family kind of rallied around me and said, Brenda, you got to do this. I'm like, okay. So we did it. And, once the news here in Connecticut got a hold of that, there was news people down my driveway. I'm like, what is happening? And they would come to my house, hey, can we interview you? I'm like, why? And I didn't realize it was such a big deal that this mom out of Portland was in the swag bags. So that's how I ended up getting on television on different news stations here. And then I realized, okay, this can be something big. And I have a business background. What am I gonna do? And then we started to try to plan it all out. And retailers started to call us. I started to call retailers. We started to have these retailers that were selling it. And things started to grow from there because I had a viable business now. Wow.
What year was the swag bag?
2014.
2014. So that's really when you started. That's what got you started in the business. So it's about 7 years ago.
Yep.
So tell us about the journey. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are listening that have had over their kitchen table, maybe sitting at a bar with a friend or in a restaurant or just in a private moment, thought about man, I've got this idea and I'd like to move it forward. Tell us about how you kind of got it from the kitchen table to, a real business where you are today?
So once I realized that, my face is out in the Connecticut eye and in the Los Angeles eye, and we're getting leads coming into us instead of me. When I say us, I mean me.
Right, exactly.
No one's calling my assistant or anybody else. It's just me. I knew I needed help, and I didn't know what to do. So I just went online and searched Connecticut businesses, small businesses, help, and I found the SBDC, and they hooked me up with Denise Whitford. And that is where she started to guide me and say, okay, Brenda, do you have a business plan? How many products do you have? What would you like to do? Really ask me the questions that nobody else could ask me and the questions I weren't asking myself. And thank God I did that because I just didn't know how to take that next step.
How to move from sort of the kitchen counter Pyrex to a real business. Right. How helpful was the SBDC? And
they were phenomenal. Yeah. I'm still working with them today. And I refer people to them that call me or say, hey, I saw you on this and I'm doing this. Tell me, what do I need to do? And, I'll give them my feedback about what they're doing. But then I also say, I need you to call these people. This is a free service. Connecticut is here to help you. A lot of people don't know about it. It's not advertised like crazy. So if I wasn't looking it up online, I don't know if I would have found them. So I really refer a lot of people to them because they help you think about the questions that you're not asking yourself. Money, goals, where do you want to be? What's in the pipeline? Do you need employees? How can the state help you with that? Licensing, all sorts of stuff. So they opened up my eyes. I learned a ton from them.
That's awesome. How did you, one of the things I've seen with product businesses, and certainly manufacturing's product business based, that there's a easy kind of way to maybe get lost in too many different SKUs, right? Everyone's got an idea for, do you call them flavors, scents? I don't know,
yeah,
style?
we call them scents. Some of them are flavors.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? I'm sure everyone's got an idea. Oh, Brenda, you could make this one, you could make that one. And being in business, right, it's hard to manage endless numbers of SKUs, not to mention just production and all that. So how did you figure out what the best sellers were? How did you know what products to go after and grow and which ones you're put on the shelf?
So I just did my research online at what sells the best. What's the best flavor that everybody really likes? What are the best scents that everybody really likes? But, I had to give it my little Italian swing, I guess, with these things. So a lot of the essential oils, I source them from Sicily or Italy. Some of these things are sourced from Africa. Wherever they are growing the best is where I source them from. And some of the things are new that maybe the market hasn't seen, but I'm going to be here to introduce it to you. And now they want it because, when you see these little boxes with bows, they look like it's a collectible and they're like little gifts. So people are okay, I want the orange one. And they don't even know what the scent is. They just like the color of the box. So that was a big deal that Denise actually helped me with, packaging and how are you going to get your packaging? Is your packaging, can it be recycled? All these different things. But I really listen to the market. I'm very into skincare, makeup, hair care, my own self. I grew up doing that. I used to be a makeup artist a long time ago. I did hair. So I feel like I have kind of a niche for what people are looking for on top of doing that research.
So you sort of got some passion for this to begin with, which
just a little
probably
bit
helps a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. How hard was it to put together? I mean, listen, I would assume there's a reason why most lip balms and stuff use petroleum, right? I don't know if it's shelf stability, ease of production, cost. I don't know what
all the things that you just said.
All the above.
Yes.
So how did you? How do you sort of overcome those challenges? Obviously there's no, how did you figure out how to do it? How has it been to shelf stability and keeping the products available? How's all that working for you?
So there's a lot of chemical makeup that kind of goes into this. And, I've worked for Bayer, I've worked for Amgen, Biotech, Altana. And, you get to know a lot of people and you get to know the chemists there. And I called a lot of my friends and just said, what can I use that is a vegan base, that's natural, that's not going to be occlusive, meaning it's not going to clog your pores, that if you were to ingest it, it's going to metabolize in your body, and it's safe for a baby. That's what I wanted to know, because if it's safe for a baby, then it's safe for everybody else. So I started to talk to some other people, and all these samples started to show up at my house. And then I just started doing my thing. I had all of my essential oils. I had all of the emollients that I needed to use. I had plant-based preservatives that you need to deflect the yeast and mold, and it's called a pseudomonas, a bacteria. You gotta, make sure that they can't grow. And if something does grow, that it gets killed within it. So there's a lot of preservatives out there that are also not safe for your face. So I wanted to make sure I was using something that was plant-based and eco-certified. And I was able to do that by just doing my research. And we found a wonderful vegan base, been working with that company ever since. And they're very, you kind of end up becoming family with these places that you're, sourcing bulk product from, and they want to help you. Brenda, we know you're doing this. I want you to try this product. Tell me what you think. And then I'm oh my God, this is freaking great. I want 2 drums of that, and we're going to make this. And, you know, but nowadays you find me in what you see here. This is stuff that has been in the pipeline for a very long time.
So let's just quickly, not everyone's going to be able to see it, so I'll describe a little bit of it. But Brenda was really nice enough to bring a ton of products. So let's just start from the front and work backwards. Like, what do we kind of have up here?
So in the front is our Uplift line, our Ortholux line, and our Hydrolux line. This is all our medical line.
Okay.
So this is for the Ortholux is obviously dental, cosmetic dentistry, and this is something that is used for each patient when they come in to use on their mouth while they're having something done, whether it's, you know, it could just be as little as a cavity, it could be braces, and it could be surgery as well. But this is something that they can go home with so that their smile can actually show off like what has happened in their mouth, and it's not all dry and like gross. When you leave the dentist. So we have the Ortholux. The Hydrolux is a kind of a huge hero product right now. We private label a lot of our stuff for a lot of our medical retailers. So Hydrolux is something for pre and post lip injection, which is the most sought after medical, you know, injection that you can get in the world today. That is cosmetic, so, you know, lip fillers.
Yep.
So what we do here is we provide a little kit that has a concentrate and a lip balm and another cream that goes around your face that can help aid in the healing, scarring, bruising of the actual lip injection and help that recover quicker. So
how big, I mean, now I'm going to ask a specific question, and I know we're going to get into some of the medical stuff later, but how popular are lip injections? Because I know we talked about it before the show. I mean, I've never gotten a lip injection or considered getting one.
I just had one right before I walked in here.
but is it
very popular? I mean, it's as popular as going to the store and buying a loaf of bread. Like, I want to say, like, every 20 minutes, someone's getting a lip injection. It's just what is happening.
And where are they doing these things?
They are going to nurse injectors that are now aesthetic nurse injectors, medical spas, sometimes in the cosmetic dentistry offices they're doing it. Plastic surgeon offices are having it. And a lot of what is happening is these nurse injectors that used to be like cardiac nurses are now moving into the aesthetics field. And they're doing more than just lip injections. They're doing Botox, fillers for the face, cool sculpting, which is like body sculpting. They have their own private place. So you're finding those pop up everywhere now instead of working for like one big medical spa. And that's where people are going.
Taking over a trend.
It is
smart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that. What else we got?
So then we also have our Uplift line. So Uplift is a really great name because these are products here that you would use post-procedure at the medical spa. So if you are getting a lip filler, if you're getting a cheekbone filler, if you're getting Botox, if you're getting an eye lift, if you're getting a liquid facelift, if you're getting cool sculpting or smart lipo, these are products here that are going to help you recover faster after the procedure is done. And so far, we're the only ones in the industry that are providing this.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Big time.
Big time.
And then behind that?
Okay, so behind here is like all the products that we started to make in the beginning. So Liplux is like, you know, the hero boutique line that you'll see in a ton of different boutiques throughout the United States and Canada at this time. So we have, I mean, I didn't bring them all, but right. I have a ton of different lip balms. We also do lip scrubs and lip masks. So it's a lip treatment. A lot of people don't pay attention to their lips, and now they do. Now they know how to take care of their lips. It's the first thing, like, yes, I'm seeing you, and the first thing I see is your eyes, but then as soon as you start talking, I see your mouth, right? Yeah. So it's just a different way to take care. It's another way for self-care. Mm-hmm. And then close to you, we have our sticks. That are also non-petroleum. They are like a berry jelly base, which is pretty awesome. And we have, you know, a men's line and, you know, a couple just random ones, but those are our PureLux line of sticks. So in case you don't want to put your finger in the balm, you can, yeah, go ahead and use it.
Oh man, get out of here. I got to see what it is. Yeah, I mean, listen.
But, you know, for people that are on the go, you know, and that's why we also have these tubes here. These are our lip glosses.
It's like minty.
In a tube. Yeah, so that one has a little bit, it's like earthy. Chamomile, eucalyptus, and mint is in that one for the men.
Yep.
But then we have like a whole bunch of our tubes here.
Color lip glosses.
These are on the go. They're colored. They got a lot of shine. We use a lot of different watercolors in here to make it fun. You know, put some artwork in here and support people, which is kind of cool.
That's great.
And then, you know,
it feels like sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish
just
it.
the little hero saver of 2020. I'll get to that when you ask me.
Go ahead. I'll let you do it.
The hand sanitizer. So, no, I never wanted to make hand sanitizer, but when 2020 came and COVID happened, we needed to adapt to what was happening, and I had the ability to bring in, you know, isopropyl alcohol, and we had a ton of aloe because we use it in our products, and we made hand sanitizer, and we were the only ones in Connecticut that wasn't like a distillery where they were using like grain alcohol. We were making it in a special way so that it smelled good. There's essential oils in here. There's a ton of aloe in here. And we provided for all of Connecticut, EMTs, hospitals, convalescent homes, police officers, fire departments, and, you know, all the essential workers, nurses and whatnot, the Navy, the boat that was outside of New York that, you know, wasn't really used. But, and what we did was we were providing this in gallons. So they would come up to Mizzi Cosmetics, they would have the order, and we would bring it right out to their car in gallons. And some people actually bought it in pails.
Wow.
Because they just wanted it so that they can continuously refill it for these essential workers. That created such loyalty and respect for our company here in Connecticut, and half of what we did, we gave it away because it was such an emergency. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But people needed it. It was such a need that we're like, we're gonna make it. You guys go save people. We don't want you to get sick. So we still have those loyal customers that don't want like the yucky kind of hand sanitizer that's out there now, and they want to support us because we help them.
That's worth it.
So we made a lot of great connections there, and we still sell it on the website now and help whomever might
That's
need
great.
it.
So I do want to talk about the medical, because I know you sort of pivoted to that, and it's really become a huge growth engine for the business over the last few years. And it's something I didn't really know anything about. So super interesting. But before we get to that, I just wanted to quickly ask you about, you know, you've got a product which has certainly unique properties to it, but certainly lip balm and like, you know, lip chapstick or whatever and lip glosses are not new.
Right.
So, you know, something I'm interested to hear about is sort of how do you think about go to market and sort of standing out in a crowded marketplace? Like, how do you get people to even know what Lip-Lux is and even give it a shot and understand the value of it over like just a generic, you know, chapstick or whatever? I assume, let me ask this one last question. I assume it's probably a little more expensive than just a generic chapstick.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you differentiate?
So, you know, we're very big on being real and showing ourselves to people, whether it's in person or digitally. And we have a great digital team that really helps us get our story across, and you know, the about Brenda and where it came from and the whys behind that. And we've, you know, there's so much out there with social media and digital that you can pay a ton of money to get followers. I don't know who these people are, and I really don't care who they are. I need things to be organic. So just because I don't have 100,000 followers doesn't mean that my 25,000 followers aren't real. Those are my people. Like, those are the people that we know, that we connect with, and connecting with the consumer, connecting with the customer, the retailer, and keeping it personal. That is the biggest thing I could tell anybody, is to keep it personal. To this day, you know, I don't work with retailers anymore, but I work with a few that I started with because they want to hear from me. So that personal touch that we give to our retailers is a very big deal, and to our consumers. But we work very closely with all those people, and we, you know, I go on TV a lot. I've been, on the news. I talk about like what's happening with our products and the whys behind it. We've done a lot of different things with like GMA and, being on their show and talking about the product.
Good Morning America?
Yeah, Good Morning America.
Just checking.
Yep. And even going on like Dr. Oz and talking about the importance of lip care and what you're putting in your body. Maybe not so much on your skin, but it's important to know what you're putting on your lips because you are digesting it. And, it's still a work in progress. I mean, there's a million competitors out there, and I don't look at it that way. I'm so super focused on us and what we're doing and how we're building everything. And, this brand, Liplux, people know it now. Like they know it by the way that it looks, by the icons, by the logo. We have very loyal customers that, refer people. We've been with the same retailers for over 7 years. And, but the medical line is really what has changed everything.
So before we get to that, I just want to take one step back. So, you've got like a PR strategy, you've got a digital strategy, and trying to keep it like personal so people connect with the story to connect with the product.
Right.
Do you do your own PR?
I do.
How do you get on GMA?
Yeah.
How do you like?
Actually, yes. So we started in the beginning hiring PR companies, and it just did not, they didn't know us. They didn't know what was going on. And so I told my team, I'm just going to do this right now. Like I need to do the footwork and the legwork so that they know that I'm a real person and that it's not just, this one paying this one to get this one on TV. I'm going to do what I need to do. And that's how everything with Kylie Jenner came about, was because I contacted who I thought I needed to contact, and I was real with these people, and I wrote them a letter and kind of wore my heart on my sleeve and just put it out there, and
What happened with Kylie Jenner?
Kylie, so that family, we're friends now, which is really cool. I have a lot of respect for them, but I wrote to one of their family friends that I found online, and I just said, this girl has so much media attention on her because of her lips and everything, and as a mom, I kind of feel bad for this young girl, and I just want to send her some of our products. Not really looking for any feedback. I just want to send something to her. And, 6 weeks kind of went by, and she wrote back and said, Brenda, I go through tons of emails, and I just stopped at yours, and I read it over and over again. And she's like, I just love your story. I want you to send all the K girls a box of something, and I will hand deliver it to them for you. So at that point, I think I might have had my first panic attack in my life, because I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to get from here? Am I going to go to Michael's and go buy some boxes for these like girls like over in Los Angeles? And I did it my own way. I'm like, I'm not going to compete with them. I'm going to do it Brenda's way.
Yeah.
And I sent them all, and I wrote them all the little notes, gave them what I thought they would like. And then like 4 weeks later, as I'm like ready to go to the bus stop and my hair's in a ponytail, no makeup on, I'm having coffee with a neighbor, my phone starts blowing up. And sure enough, Kylie posts a video of what's in her travel bag. And it wasn't like a 20 or 10-second thing. She's like, so I use Mizzi Cosmetics. I use the Honey Kiss lip balm. I take this everywhere I go. And then I also use their lip scrub, and it's natural. And she's reading all the ingredients. She's like, these two are my favorite. And so I screamed. My friend thought something was wrong with me. And all of a sudden, the sales went up by 400%. And then the retailers that came after that, we couldn't keep up. There was no like, oh my God, we have to call somebody and get in. The leads were pouring in. I got somebody to come, 2 girls to come in and help me. And they were handling all the sales. Like, oh, hi, yes, this is Mizzi. What can I do for you? Can we buy this product from you? Okay. And, then it goes from my kitchen to the dining room table, from the dining room table to the 3rd bedroom. And we're packing orders and crisscross applesauce on the floor on their computer and packing, and it was monumental what happened there. But she really, really launched us into where we are today with her video there.
And that really boosted your cosmetic sales and helped get it on the map. That's cool.
And brought on a ton of new celebrity networks, celebrity people that purchase from me now on a monthly basis. working with different people, private labeling, doing gifts for their, you know, birthday parties for their kids or whatever. And it's great. And I don't say anything because it's private for them. But like inside, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this person just called me and we have to make this for their baby shower, you know? And then you hope that they post the picture, and they do. Right. You know, Kate Hudson has done a few things. Kourtney Kardashian has done things. Jennifer Lopez, like, so it's been like so surreal, like, oh my God, there's my stuff on TV, you know? Nice. But so yeah.
That sounds like it kind of adds a little bit of fun too.
Absolutely.
Not like, I mean, there's obviously like some business success, and you guys are almost like 24 employees now. Yeah. And so like that's cool, but it's probably a little bit of like kind of just fun too.
It's fun. It's fun. Every
nice
day
to have fun.
It's fun.
That's great. So I'm going to pivot a little bit because I know this has been a huge boost in the business. We touched on it earlier, which is really like the medical line.
Yes.
And you know, it's interesting because I think we talked about sort of how you started the lip balm and the lip gloss, which in some senses was almost a medical, right?
Yes.
It was, so it's sort of interesting that you sort of started with a medical need, you sort of ended up in more of the cosmetics side of it, and now you're sort of putting those two things together and almost ending up here where you started. Right. So maybe just talk a little bit about how you even thought to get into this market and how you've been taking advantage of it.
Well, it really did stem from the Liplux. You know, we started to get into some medical spas that really thought that this lip balm was something that they can use after a lip injection.
Was it something that you thought of, or they thought of, or you approached them?
No, I approached them. I was going to medical spa for different facials and whatnot, and then I would bring like samples, like, hey, this is me, this is what I do, and then when they're like, oh, you're the lip lady. Like, that's what I get. Like, oh, the Liplux lady. I'm like, my name is Brenda. But yes.
Oh, you know, Liplux lady actually has some good more branding value, right? So you're probably good there.
So we use that as hashtags sometimes. Okay. But I said, yeah, I would love for you to try to use this because, you know, you're using like an Aquaphor or petroleum or Vaseline after they get their lips done, and it's actually having the opposite effect. So I was educating them. So they only know I'm going to put Aquaphor on because of whatever scientific thing that they, you know, heard about. And then I'm there to educate, this is what happens. This is what I have produced and made. And this is what you should be putting on your patient's lips. And you should give them, you know, opportunities to choose like what they might like. And then, you know, after that, like, okay, this is great. Doesn't look very medical to me, and it's missing something. So, you know, my brain, my cosmetic chemistry brain, when you have a filler is made with hyaluronic acid. Okay. So hyaluronic acid is part of your body. It's what makes your skin plump. It's found all over your skin, and you make it, create it, and it, you know, goes away. But they also use that in their injectables. So I came up with a proprietary blend in my lab of hyaluronic acid, combined that with just really superior therapeutic ingredients, far more superior than in this line because this is more medical, so it has to be medical grade. Okay. So, you know, sourcing in different oils that are extremely important, hard to get, but have an amazing outcome when you're using them on, you know, your patient's face or hands or wherever they're getting a procedure done. So with the people that we have been working with this Hydrolux line, we noticed that there was a gap in their aftercare. So we started to slowly create this over the last 4 years, and we just launched this like last year. And now, even though this is our Uplift brand, hundreds of retailers are now just putting their name on it. And this is like what you're gonna find at XYZ Medical Spa. And they're not ordering, like when you go back to the Liplux, those are boutiques that might order like a case of 30. This is like a case of 2,000 a month. And we have, you know. So you're
learning about the value of size orders.
But absolutely. And and educating has been huge. So, you know, they only know what they know, and then you have someone that is totally concentrating on the lips and the anatomy of the lips and the ingredients that are going on the lips and what can happen with ingestion. And I'm telling them this, so it's like this brand new education that they didn't know. And now we're working with or closely with pharmaceutical companies.
Really?
So, you know, I don't know where that's going to go, but it is a huge deal for Mizzi Cosmetics here in Connecticut.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Yeah. So they're white labeling. So I mean,
Yeah.
so I go to like, you know, XYZ Med Spa. I'm not buying the Mizzi product or the Liplux. It's going to be XYZ whatever, and then that's how they do it.
So what we do is when they do that on the back, it will say "powered by Mizzi."
Okay.
But it is theirs. But what's great about that is that they're so proud of us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they're proud of them that they're doing it, that they love that it says "powered by Mizzi." There's definitely a handful of people that just say distributed by or whatever, but because it says powered by Mizzi, and because we're everywhere now, we're like in every medical spa that you could possibly think of in the United States and Canada.
Really?
And I mean, there's so many more out there, but the influx of retailers that we've received over the past 4 years is astonishing.
How are you trying to prepare for this growth? Like, what does the future look like in your mind?
So we need to get out of the building that we're in right now. We do not have enough space at Mizzi right now. We have a 4,000 square foot unit that
you realize industrial realtors are going to start calling you off the hook now after this show.
Well, just so you know, I'd like to stay in Portland, Cromwell, or Middletown, Connecticut, close to where we are right now.
There we go. Opportunity for anybody listening.
For any of those commercial real estate agents. But and the state is going to help us figure that out and, you know, help guide us, in the next couple of weeks. But, you know, our facility right now has a little retail area. It has the marketing office area, and then we do all of our distribution right now. We work with some distributors, you know, here and there. And then we have the production clean room, the lab, and then we do all of our printing. So we have commercial printers. So we do all of the printing. We don't want to work with a secondhand place. We're doing it ourselves. We have our own designers. We print, label, batch it. We do everything there. We try to, you know, go to different places and see who could help us. But at the end of the day, I just needed that control. Okay. Because if there was a mistake, well, I can fix it right there and stop the machine instead of, I'm going to do this and then send it to you. And then it's like wrong.
As you scale, you may have a hard time keeping vertically integrated though, no? Right,
very possible. But those are the things that I'm looking for help. Like sure. I'm not so proud that I'm gonna go get a 1,500. Like, no, I need someone to help me. Where is this gonna go? How are we gonna have these pieces of equipment in here? What kind of procedures should we put in place because this is new? And, you know, maybe there is other ways to make it more streamlined and cost effective.
Have you been impacted at all by sort of like the supply chain challenges that other manufacturers have had?
We were, but we have such so back in the day when I worked in pharma, I was a demand planner manager for the pharmaceutical companies that I worked with. So my focus is all forecast and demand planning. So I'm like psychotic demand planner for Mizzi. So one of the good, you know, what we could take away from that is that I just planned accordingly really, really well. And it's not like a JIT, like a just in time anymore because of what was happening, but we were a JIT. And that was great, and it worked for us because we were small. But after COVID, things changed, and then we had to go to, what do we need for the next 6 months? And we're gonna have to order that.
Plan out.
So, and then we have blanket POs now and whatnot. We prepare for the worst, and you know we're in the same boat as everybody else. Yeah. For instance, I'm working on a brand new product that I'm so excited about, but I can't get the sample in the mail. It's on back order. I'm like, if the sample's on back order, where is your bulk?
Yeah.
So not that I want to put it on the back burner, but if you can't get this to me, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to move to the next thing in the pipeline. Yeah. Because that worries me. If I can't get a sample.
Yeah, then you're really in trouble when you want drums.
So those are things, you know, and people, when they talk to us, our customers are like, you're just like Amazon. We put your order in, we get it in like a day or two. I'm like, you have no idea what goes on back here, but you know, it's like, let's go, you know, move. We got to get these orders out the door, and we time everybody. Like, you have to know what you can put out so that you know who you're going to hire next or how many you need to hire based on what one person can do. So I'm all about timing and everything so that we know exactly what to do. It's
amazing. Honestly, it's just like you always have all these little stories that you said, oh, you were in pharma doing this, you were in, you know, demand management. You obviously, mom work has a lot of like coordination and juggling, lots. Yeah. You know what I mean? Plus the makeup artist, it just feels like everything you did in your life kind of led you here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. Like serendipitous.
There you go.
Right? It's like the next name of my lip balm. Serendipitous.
Serendipitous. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Before we kind of wrap up and go to rapid fire round of questions, but I never really got the end of the story, which is how did everything work out with your son?
He is 11 years old. He plays soccer, he plays football, and he plays baseball, and he is a very healthy little boy. He does have to go back, you know, every now and then to the cardiologist. Otherwise, he is kind of just like me. Like if you brought him in here, he would totally be like, so this is what my mom does, and this is what, and this is how we pivoted. Like he would tell you everything, but my kids are like sponges. They love this. They love everything about the business, and I love that I could be a role model for them.
That's really cool. And they probably got great lips.
They got great lips.
There you go. Yeah. Nice. All right, Brenda, you ready for some rapid fire round of questions? All right, here we go. Red Sox or Yankees?
Red Sox.
There we go. Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Starbucks.
Staycation or exotic destination?
Exotic destination.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Sports car or SUV?
Can it be a little? I have it both right now.
Both. Okay. Perfect.
I have a sports car. That's an SUV. I got a Dodge Hemi out there right now,
there
and I
go.
Used to race, so I.
Oh, you got a little bit.
I got caliper covers on there. Mopar, you got it.
Nice, like a lady that likes her cars.
Right.
Do you have a favorite business book?
A favorite business book. So yeah, so one of the books that I've read oh God, what is it called? It's from Barbara Cochran in this, oh God, what is it called? Something with the sharks, Swimming with the Sharks.
Yeah.
And it's Barbara Cochran. I love her, and I've talked to her. I've been on a show with her, and she just puts it right out there for everybody. And it just gives me motivation when I read that, and to put things in perspective and to kind of take a step back, because this is not a race. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, I thought it was a race. So, you know, her book kind of put things in perspective. And then I also like the book Think and Get Rich.
Yep.
That's a really good book.
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon. Napoleon Hill. Yeah, yep. One of my faves. Book my parents made me read in high school, which has been great. If you could do anything besides be the president of Mizzi Cosmetics, and you had to do it, it could be anything in the whole wide world, what would you do?
I would be doing a ton of philanthropy. All I want to do is just like help people. So when I'm not doing this, I'm probably giving stuff away to families, or trying to raise money to the community, because there's, you know, you live in this small community, but I feel like, oh, this one's doing this, and I know families that like need stuff. So Mizzi will write a check to some random family that I know at church, and we give that away. And I just want to do more things for people like that. Like one of my nail technicians, she's from Vietnam. She just lost her car. She has no way to get to work. And right now I'm working with Dodge to see how can we get her a used car? What can we do? Tell me how we can do it. Like, even if I can't give you all the money for it, what can we do to help this girl? Because she's in school and she's trying her best and she's trying to get to work, and all these things are kind of crumbling, and her family doesn't live here. She has nothing. She needs her own car. What can we do? And so like I lease all my cars from Dodge. So I'm like, I'm putting this on your plate. Tell me what you're going to do for this girl. Like, you know, so there's these things that I want to do, and that's what I would be doing. Or I would open up a medical spa.
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
What's something, Brenda, that you learned early in your life or early in your career that you think's really helped propel you to the success that you've had?
I would say really having some patience, because again, I kind of go back to what I just said. I really wanted to run before I was walking with this. And even though like it all worked out, there was like those days where they're like, Brenda, this is not going to work if you're doing this and this, and or if you're spending too much money on here because you think it's a great idea. That was only Brenda. And I'm like, okay, I want to buy this because I want to try this. And I really needed somebody like one of the ladies that I work with, Sue White. She's like a financial, like a CFO of like her company and whatnot. And she was, you know, she would ask me, Brenda, why do you need this? What are you going to need this for? And does it have to be right now? And let's plan it out so like you have a budget. And I just didn't understand about the budget, but I want it and I can make it. And, you know, so that's something I have strayed away from. And now, you know, my powerhouse team of women, we all help each other out. And now I don't freak out anymore when I have an idea like, oh my God, we need to buy this new product. I don't do that. It's all planned.
That's cool.
So patience.
What's something, Brenda, that you learned later in your life or later in your career that if you could go way back and tell young Brenda and she'd listen to you, you think make a really big impact on her life?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I would tell her to follow your gut instinct about the things that I kind of wanted to do when I was younger, because it was a lot of this. But I went to school for, business, which is great. But I really didn't want to go to school for business. I wanted to get into school for, you know, maybe do something with cosmetics and chemistry and work in like the hair field and this, that, and the other thing. And not that I'm happy with what I'm doing now, but it's almost like I took a big, like a figure eight around everything. And I just wish I listened to my gut a little bit more, because I knew it. Like I knew what I wanted to do. And yeah, obviously I took cosmetic classes and chemistry classes and whatnot, but I feel like I knew this before I did it.
Before you did
it.
That's awesome. Brenda, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story. It's really interesting, and I wish you all the success. I look forward to having you back in a while. We can celebrate.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it.
All right.
Made in America with Ari Santiago is brought to you by CompassMSP.
Thanks for listening and spending some time with me today. My goal is to help build a strong manufacturing community, and it would be impossible to do without all of you.